Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a new CurseStudio tutorial, and this time it will be all about Maxwell. Next Limit did hook me up recently with a new license for Maxwell, which was really cool, and I thought, okay, I give this render engine now really a shot and see what it can do, and I really need to say, in certain ways, it really blew me away. It has absolutely awesome materials. I mean, it doesn't get much more realistic than that, to be honest. I absolutely love the materials. I love the way how Maxwell is built and how it works. I think it's still a little bit slow because it's CPU based only. So if you're a freelancer like me, it's sometimes kind of hard to use Maxwell really for animations. Also, I have upgraded my workstation now with a new Intel 5960X. But still, for animations, it probably still takes a little bit too long. Definitely depends on the shot, how much glass is going on and stuff like that, where unbiased engines most of the time really get a little bit slow. But Maxwell already released a little video they did record on a SIGGRAPH where they show that they're already building a new Maxwell version, which will be GPU based as well. And I really need to say I can't wait to see this one as well. But I want to show you today what you can do with Maxwell, and if you're aiming for still shots and stuff like that for absolutely realistic, stunning results, I think Maxwell is really an absolutely awesome engine. I will show you today why. So I think first of all we should start up Cinema 4D, and we will have a look at Maxwell when you have it installed. First of all, when we click here, edit render settings, you might want to choose Maxwell, but you probably don't get a chance to because Maxwell is not listed inside here of the renderer, which is a little bit confusing at first. So what we need to do to get Maxwell as our render engine, we just simply have to drop in here from the plugins menu. As soon as you have installed Maxwell, you get this folder right here, Maxwell for Cinema 4D version, blah blah blah. And then you can just simply drop in this scene object, and this scene object will include everything that we need for rendering for Maxwell. So this is our basic main render button right here. Render the scene using the render view. This is when we will be using when we final rendering. This is only for the active view. Here, those two buttons is to export MXS files, which are Maxwell files, which is not so important, depends on what you want to do, of course. And here we have export the scene to an MXS. Okay, here you can export this file only. Render the scene using the Maxwell network rendering system. Okay, I don't have a network, so that's not really possible for me. Export the scene to an MXS file and open it in Maxwell Studio. Maxwell Studio is also what pops up when we hit this button right here. And this is Maxwell Fire. Maxwell Fire is basically a real-time engine, like you, if you have ever seen Octane renderer, it's basically the same. So we can see in real time what's going on in the scene, and we can also make here some quality adjustments. So let me pull this over here. If we jump here into our scene file and jump here to engine, here we have fire options. We can say how many CPU threads we want to use. In this case I want to use 16, and we can also up the quality here. I think 7 is the maximum sampling level. We could go, I don't know, till 25. I think 25 is a maximum. No, we can even go higher, but this will probably render forever, so we will just simply change the sampling level here to something like 8. 8 will be probably good enough. Okay, so that's Maxwell Fire. Let's jump back into output, and I will tell you a little bit more about Maxwell, even though I think it's really pretty much straightforward. And I also have to fire up my cigarette again. Okay, so here, export options, we can go disable Maxwell instances, which is probably never a good idea, because this will add a lot of geometry to our scene if we're using a cloner object or something like that, probably. Auto-generate instances, protect MXS, whatever that means, I'm not sure right now. We could probably read this in the manual, which comes with Maxwell as well, so we can just simply go here, help, and then we can read the manual. Strict mode, I'm not sure what that is right now, to be honest. Okay, but let's go to the really fun stuff. Motion blur and animation, I mean, this is really straightforward. If only the camera is moving in the scene, we would use camera motion blur only. If also objects are moving, we're definitely using object motion blur. Which hopefully also includes then a camera motion blur. I'm not sure, we might need to tick on both if the camera is moving and the object. Probably not, I think object motion blur is then enough. Here we have the default exposure. This is working with the EV, f-stop, ISO and shutter. Maxwell always tries to make life a little bit easier for you. So this is why lock exposure to EV. So the EV is basically the exposure. If we tick this off, we can finally make our own adjustments. If I type in here 400 ISO, you can see the shutter updates here automatically. If I tick this off, changes here to 200, you can see nothing changes. So really depends on what you want to do. Here we have the different render channels that we could tick on, which are also, I mean, there is a set buffer, alpha, shadow, material ID, object ID, motion vector, roughness, Fresnel, and so on and so on. So there is definitely some stuff. And here we can save our scene presets. So if we have a favorite EV, ISO, and favorite render channels and so on, we can just simply save this here and then we can load it later on. Okay, so let's jump to the engine. Render time, you can give a fixed render time because it's an unbiased engine. So if you want to, unbiased engine can render forever, as you might have known. So here you can go with a fixed time or with a sampling level. We could change this here maybe to a I don't know, sampling level maybe of 16. I think you probably never go higher than 16, probably. I mean, I'm not sure. CPU threads, if this is set here to 0, the final render output when we hit here will use all CPU threads. Here we can type in some additional command lines. I don't know any command lines yet, so I have absolutely no clue what to type in here. Maybe we could also render this in some kind of batch mode where we don't see a render view or something like that. So it's only working in some kind of DOS mode and renders the pictures out, which might gives you a little bit more of CPU power in the end. Quality, production or draft, we definitely want to go for production. Priority, if you change this to normal, you definitely get a little bit more CPU power for your rendering, but you definitely can't use your workstation anymore after that because everything else will get really slow. So this means that Maxwell will definitely use the complete CPU power. Multilight, a really cool feature. Let me show you this quickly. Maxwell Multilight. This was really a fun feature, I think. I already made a little test video for this. Sorry, as you can see, I'm over prepared as usual. I hope this isn't too much of a problem. Here we go, Multilight, but I want to see videos, to be honest. Gallery, video gallery, here we go. And here we go to Multilight. They featured my video on their homepage, which is pretty cool. And here you can see what you can do with Multilight. This is basically only one frame rendered. And then you can set keyframes later on in the Maxwell renderer for your lights. I have, I think, 3 lights going on here in the scene. And I just simply set keyframes for the lights and switched the lights on. And then just simply rendered out the animation. Well, not really rendered, I just simply saved out the animation. Here you can see it maybe a little bit better. Multilight Kitchen, which is also really cool. What you can do with this feature for interiors and exterior stuff. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is really cool, I think. So you can basically see this room under different lighting conditions. Here the light from the outside, then turning on also the normal lights inside of the house, then switching maybe to an HDRI from the outside, and so on, which is really cool. And this is just really only one frame rendered, and the rest you can do inside of Maxwell Renderer. This takes then something like 5 to 10 minutes or something like that to render this to save those animated TIFF files, and that's it. But I will show you this later on a little bit better. Multilight, you definitely need to tick this on so that multilight works. So you can switch this here to intensity or color. So intensity was what you have just seen in my video and then on the interior shot. If you want to use color, then you can choose color as well. Then you can change later on in post-work inside of Maxwell Renderer. You can try different color settings for your light and then simply save out this animation as well. But I will definitely go for intensity right now, right here. Fire options, I already showed you that. So this is for the live preview. Maxwell Fire Engine. Tone mapping, here you can choose different color spaces, the sRGB or Adobe RGB from 98 and so on and so on. So this is up to you. Probably wouldn't change this, to be honest. Burn is set here to 0.8. The burn value is when you have some kind of, let's say, sunlight or something like that. And if you have ever seen how a sunlight reflects on some kind of car paint material, this can be sometimes a little bit too harsh when you render it out, and this is why maybe the burn value is set to 0.8 straight away. Let's see how far we can. Okay, 1 is definitely the absolutely maximum, so let's leave this here as 0.8 so we don't have so much burn on certain things. I don't know if 0.8 is really that realistic. Probably 1 would be more realistic, I think, but I'm not sure right now. Gamma 2.2, we definitely don't want to change this. Simulens is really, really cool because you can load different aperture maps and obstacle maps. This will definitely have an impact of your DOF, so the things that are out of focus and in the back. Let's say you have a lot of lights in the back, like an HDRI, where a lot of street lamps are going on and stuff like that. Then you can load here your own aperture maps, and there are also coming some aperture maps with Maxwell Renderer straight away that you can load in right here, and this will give you then a different look for the things that are out of focus. And yeah, that's really a cool feature, I think. Then we have here diffraction, scattering, and de-vignetting. Okay, so we can use a de-vignetting, so just simply get rid of the vignetting itself if we want to, and so on and so on. Materials override, if you let's say you have an interior scene and everything is already textured and you say, I don't know, I want to have a clay render right now because this would be really, really important to see a little bit better how the light really works in the scene. Then you can just simply go override, drop in from here a Maxwell material, drop it in here, then just simply make your clay render, and that's it. Globals, motion blur, displacement, dispersion. So if we would tick this off, we probably won't get motion blur, displacement, or dispersion in any way. Overlay text, just simply if you want to write some lines on your final renderings, which you could do in After Effects or Photoshop or whatever anyway, but here you have the chance to do it right here in Maxwell, and here you have also some render layers that you could tick on and tick off. Environment, pretty much straightforward. Type, physical sky. If you want to use a sunlight or something like that, you can also tick off the sun. Here you can give the sun temperature, is set to 5777, which is probably the normal color of the sun. Sun power, planet reflectance, I'm not even 100% sure what that is right now. Radius factor, ozone, you probably know this from some other render engines, turbidity, and so on. You can also change the sun type from physical to custom and make your own stuff. And here you can just simply load location and time, which is pretty cool, but which you also probably know from other render engines. And sun indicator, we can show this in the viewport if we want to. Oh, maybe not. Where is my sun? Hello. Let's click this on again. No sun? No sun? Why? Let's maybe load a different location. Maybe do it like this. No, it's not showing right now, and I'm not sure why, but it definitely works. I mean, I never had any problems here with show in viewport, but what can you do? And here, export environment as HDR. So you can basically, from your rendering that you pull out, you can save an HDRI from that if you want to. Here the type, we can also change this to a sky dome. If we want to, we can change this here to an image based, which means probably HDRI lighting. You can just simply go here, background channel, load an HDRI, and where are my HDRIs, by the way? I don't think I have much right now. Textures, HDRI, here we go. And as you can see, all the other channels, reflection channel, refraction channel, and illumination channel, switches automatically to use BG, so use the background. Also, so if you want to have a different map for the reflection or a different map for the illumination or whatever, you can just simply choose a different map here. Just simply go use HDRI, load another one, and you can do that. If not, just simply choose use BG, and that's it. Here, everything else is pretty much straightforward. I think intensity multiplier, intensity scale, and the offset. And we can also show this HDRI inside the viewport if we want to. I'm just not 100% sure now how. Viewport display, here we go. Background channel. Then we can see what's going on, how our HDRI looks, and where our HDRI is at, which can also come in pretty handy if you want to light up something. And I think you can also see it then inside of Maxwell Fire. Let's see. Pre-processing materials, there is not anything. Okay, as you can see now, we can also see the HDRI inside of Maxwell Fire, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I don't really need this right now, so I will just simply go disable. And then we have here Cinema, which is basically well designed for Cinema 4D. Export unit Cinema for the basic units, so Maxwell will use the, I think the units that you have chosen inside of Cinema 4D. So if we hit Control D, here we go, centimeters, stuff like that, then create physical lights, hide from camera, hide from reflection, and so on. I think this is, everything is pretty much straightforward. And I also want to mention, if you want to learn more about Maxwell, because I don't really want to tell you everything, because there's a really, really nice tutorial, a lot of parts, tutorial parts online on YouTube, on the official Maxwell channel for Cinema 4D. And that guy is really one of the smoothest guys I ever heard. I think you can really learn much from this guy and understand Maxwell a little bit better, because I will definitely not explain everything. I will just simply try to get you to this point that you can start rendering with Maxwell and have some fun with it, because this is really, really important, I think. And so yeah, I will just simply, I think, download a scene, another scene from the great Silverwing VFX. We will get a scene from him and then just simply prepare this scene inside of Maxwell. And then we can just simply see what we get. And while we are texturing and creating materials and stuff like that, I hope you will learn everything you need to finally work with Maxwell Renderer and kick out some nice renderings. Okay, so we'll just simply go to the Silverwing webpage. Here we go, silverwingvfx.de. Then we'll just simply go to free stuff. And I think we will download this free siring scene here, right here. I think this is set up in V-Ray, and we will just simply make this a Maxwell scene. And so yeah, I think it also comes with all the maps, displacement maps and stuff like that, so we can definitely do something with that. So let me unzip this. We'll open up the file, and here we go. Here we also have a still image, which will probably come in pretty handy. So I will open this up on my second screen so I can see a little bit better what I want to texture. And let's see the materials a little bit better. This is probably some kind of silver material. Looks a little bit brushed to me. Maybe there's some kind of anisotropy on there. Anisotropy is, by the way, always a little bit fake. But in V-Ray and also inside of Maxwell, you have the opportunity to use anisotropy. Normally, you should get this anisotropy effect via bump map or something like that. If you don't have the opportunity in a render engine to use anisotropy to fake it, then you can try it with a bump map to get this effect. Okay, so yeah, here we have some liquid inside. This is black plastic. Here we have some, this is also plastic probably. Here, right here, just a little bit transparent. So it should be really, really straightforward to texture this, I think. Okay, so we have, do we have the scene already? No, I think I forgot to open up the scene, which is not so good. Okay, so let's open this up. And still not working. Why? Please? No. Oh. Oh. Okay. This was definitely my fault because I just found a little, well, I had a little project, let me explain this shortly. I had a little project going on last week where I used Octane Renderer to render out an animation, and at the same point I wanted to use, since Octane Renderer is only using the GPU, I also wanted to render out some render passes with the normal Cinema 4D standard renderer with the CPU. And if you're rendering something, Cinema 4D won't let you open up another scene or won't let you render another scene. So I said to Silverwing, hey Raphael, have you maybe some kind of idea? And he said, yeah, while I worked at iXponsor, there was a guy and he had a really, really cool solution for this. And I said, what is it? And he just simply said, you need to make a shortcut on your desktop. And if you want to open up a second Cinema 4D instance where you can choose then a CPU renderer or something like that, you just simply do a right click, go to Preferences, and then you just simply add this word here in the end, parallel with this little stroke here. And then you just simply click here, OK. And then every time you click this button here, a second instance of Cinema 4D will open up. So let me show this quickly. Right now we have here our test scene. If I, let's say here, Octane Renderer renders already. Now I want to render out some render passes from the same scene. Now I have a second Cinema 4D instance. Let's start up here Octane Renderer. So Octane Renderer is here rendering. And I can just simply use still here the standard renderer and everything will be working fine. Okay, so this is probably why I had a problem here right now. So let's just simply open this up like this. Okay. Right now we definitely want to delete everything. I think we will delete this light here. We don't need a rear light. We also don't need this light anyway, because in Maxwell you don't create area lights, you create just simply planes and then use an emission light. So we will definitely delete this light right here and we will delete all the materials. So let's hold down the control key while every null is closed. Left mouse click, this will open up everything that is under the null completely. We will delete all the materials right here. Let's do the same thing right here. I'll just simply select those. Bam. Alright. And this should be it. Those three materials. And everything is gone. Gone. Okay. So we finally can start out to texture something with Maxwell. By the way, if you... well, first of all, go to plugins, Maxwell drop in a scene. And... if you don't have any light, let's say we switch this here from physical sky sun to image based and we don't load an HDRI or something like that, and let's also get rid here of the sun. And we click here on fire, you will get an error normally. Not this time, and I have no clue why. Maybe if I take this on again. Okay, that's really weird. If you don't have loaded any light inside of the scene, normally Maxwell Fire or anything else will just simply give you an error down here and will say, not working. I'm really sorry for that. But yeah, as soon as you load an HDRI or you have a area light in the scene or something like that, it will work pretty good. And when I say area light, I definitely mean a plane. So we can use the camera, we can give this a camera tag right away. So right click, Maxwell for Cinema 4D, and give this here a camera tag. You don't really need this camera tag, because you can change this EV, f-stop, ISO and shutter speed and all those stuff also here inside the scene under output, as we have seen before, and the rest maybe here simulants and stuff like that. You can do this here as well. But I always love to work with a camera tag, so this is just simply my personal favorite to work with a camera tag, also inside of V-Ray and stuff like that. Okay, since the scene is already set up, I guess the focus distance is already there. As you can see, the focus distance is perfect of the camera, so this siren will definitely be in focus, so 32.5 centimeters, and normal lens. They also did use a 50mm lens, which can also make your shot a little bit more interesting instead of using the normal 36mm lens, which probably a lot of people still use. So yeah, I think first of all I want to create a Maxwell material and tell you something about this. So let's go Maxwell material. And let's open this up. And when you open it up for the first time, you probably have a different scene right here. So a different preview window right here. And this is because you can change here the scenes. You probably start out with this one, checker. So if we go here, Maxwell material, scene, we can choose between different preview scenes. Here you have drapery, here for the emitters 10 meters, emitter IES light, which is pretty cool, floor, gam, so for diamonds and everything else. Leaf, so probably for two-sided materials that are a little bit kind of translucent, like leaves are, most of them at least. Primitives, real scale material, SSS material, which is also a really nice preview scene for SSS materials, absolutely love it. SSS small, stage 1, which I'm using most of the time, and stage 2. Maybe stage 2 is even a little bit better, because here we have some kind of stuff going on. Well, some bevels. So here we can see a little bit better how the light reflects maybe. So might want to go for stage 2 here. The problem is also here the target SL is really, really important. If you set this here to 1, you can see the subsampling level, so the SL stands for subsampling level, will only use one subsampling level. As soon as we up this to 2, you can see this gets a little bit better, 4, even a little bit better, and if we up this here to 12, you can see it renders a little bit longer, but it also gets pretty much clean, which is good. The problem is when you close this file, delete this material, go to create shader Maxwell material, you will see on your screen at least it changes to the default scene and also to the default SL. To change this, you need to go File, Edit Preferences, sorry, then Maxwell Maxwell right here. Then here you can choose the sampling level for the material. In my case, I did use 12. Preview threads, so how many threads you want to use for the preview. In my case, I use 14 threads of my 16, and the preview scene here you can change this as well. I will change this here now to stage 2 and then just simply close that. And as soon as you have that, every time you open up a new Maxwell material, it will always render to sampling level 12 and will use this default scene that you did choose. Okay, so that's about it. I think the first thing we can do is we create a plane. So this will be our area light inside the scene. And let me give this camera also a protection tag, so I'm not moving the camera by mistake. So let's use this plane right here and move it upward a little bit. And as you can see here on the shot, the light is coming pretty much from the back here, probably a little bit more to the right. And my cat is yelling outside. You can hear that. I'm sitting here in the basement and I have the window open, and always when my cat wants to come in, she just simply yells in front of my window till I open up. Sometimes feel like some guy that works in a hotel and just opens doors. So I have to pause the video here, but I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for that. Sometimes I really feel like the bellhop in this house. Okay, so here we have our plane. And we want to make sure that this plane maybe comes in something like that maybe. Let's rotate it a little bit. Maybe it might be a little bit too big. I'm not sure. Might be okay. Well, we will see it in a minute anyway. So let's create a new material, shader Maxwell material. You can, by the way, also create materials by plugins, Maxwell material. And if we go here to create, we already have here some materials that come with Maxwell, which is really, really cool. So you have here HES, opaque, transparent, translucent, metal, carbon, standard, and so on. So if we would go here metal, you can already choose aluminium, chromium, cobalt, copper, germanium, gold, and so on. And this is really, really cool. Okay, if we change this here to gold, as you can see, we probably get the right values, but we don't get the right color. So we could change this here to a color like this. Then we would get gold and stuff like that, and so on, iron, nickel. Okay, so let's delete this layer right here. And if you want to know more about all those Maxwell layers and how you can stack them and stuff like that, please just simply watch this guy on the Maxwell YouTube channel. He really explains this really, really good. I don't really want to get too much into this right now because this would just simply take way too long. And since the guy is really, really cool and recorded this already, I don't think it's necessary that I do it again. Okay, so what we can do here, we could also load files that come with Maxwell. So from MXM, as you can see here, we have a lot of different stuff: SSS honey, chocolate, Jade, then here different wall materials, car paints, and so on, frosted glass, leather. So you have some prepared materials already, and here you have a lot more. Okay, so what we need an emitter material, so we could just simply standard emitter, and watts for now is 40, might be okay. Efficiency, no light has a 100% efficiency in the real world, so the light definitely uses some kind of its power along the way, as you might can see in your room if you have a light turned on. Where you sit, maybe the light is really strong, and right in the back, like 3-4 meters in the back, the light gets really dark. So this is just simply what the efficiency does. If we would set this here to 100%, the light wouldn't have any fall off, and it would just simply shine all the way for 100%, which is not really cool. So we definitely want to have a fall off in the light. So this is why we will just leave the efficiency here 12.7, and watts we will just simply go for 40 right now, because we have no clue how much watts we really need. So we'll just simply take this plane. We can also save here some polygons. Width and height can be 1 on this plane. Let's make it editable. I think we don't even need to make it editable. And first of all, we need to check if this plane is pointing in the right direction. So let's start up Maxwell Fire, and it is, because as you can see in the back, this is absolutely black. So you need to make sure that the plane is pointing in the right direction. So if you ever wonder why you don't have any light in the scene, first of all, it might be because you don't have enough watts. The other might be that the plane is pointing in the wrong direction. Okay, so let's start up Maxwell Fire again, and I think we can here set use red. So we'll just simply change this here to 16, quality to, let's maybe make it 5, and the sampling level here to 7. And let's start up Fire. As you can see, we cannot see much right now, but we can see enough, I think. So I will just simply set this here to a value maybe of 120, and then we'll do the rest probably with the camera. So I will just simply jump into the camera tag, get rid of this lock exposure, and we'll set here, first of all, I will set the f-stop to 4. This also helps to create a stronger DOF. So as lower the f-stop is, the stronger the DOF will be. I will definitely would go lower than maybe a value of 2.8 or something like that. I mean, you can, really depends on the situation, but normally I think a value between 4 and 3 is just fine. We can up the ISO here, maybe 400. 400 might be not good enough yet. Maybe 800. And let's say this is some kind of interior shot. 800 might be already good enough. I think we'll just simply give it a little bit more power here in the light. So let's make this maybe 250. Maybe a little bit more, I'm not sure yet. Well, maybe. I mean, we can also change the ISO here to 1200. It's probably the maximum I would go. Oh, might look okay. Might look okay. Well, we will see when we apply the materials. We can still change the light later on anyway, since we only have one light, and so it's not really so bad. Okay, let's delete this Maxwell material that I did create before, and also this one. So we only have this emitter material right now. We can just simply rename this here to light. Doesn't really matter. And there we go. Create shader Maxwell material. And we will now create some kind of silver material. So we just simply go create standard metal. Oh, I think this was the wrong one. Sorry. Let's go create metal right here. And then we'll choose here some kind of silver material. And I think that's it. And to see a little bit better what's going on in this material, we can just simply go right click here on metal and go convert to custom. And then we can see what's really happening in this silver material. So the reflectance 0 degrees and 90 degrees, I will not really explain this yet because you can watch this tutorial from this guy on YouTube. He explains it really, really good. The ND here is really, really important. The ND is the IOR, probably. So the real IOR of silver is 0.121. If you would ever try inside of Octane or inside of V-Ray to type in an IOR value of 0.121, this wouldn't work because I think you can't go lower than 1.3 or 1.2 or something like that. At least for sure not lower than 1. So this is how Maxwell works a little bit differently. And I want to show you this site right here. It's called refractiveindex.info. And here you can look up all kind of values for different materials, which is also really important here inside of Maxwell is this, this value right here, this K. This K stands for coefficient, and this coefficient also has a great impact on how your final material looks. And right here on refractive index, we need, first of all, to choose the right line. So in our case, we need to choose, I think, this D line right here. And when we have selected this line here, let's do it again, we can choose here from different materials. So let's go aluminium. Let's say we want to find the value for aluminium. You can see that Rakic, a guy named Rakic in 1998, said or did calculate that aluminium has an N or an IOR of 1.0972, and the coefficient of aluminium would be 6.7943. Then you can change this here to Rakic. What did Rakic say in 1995? Here he said a little bit different. The N is for aluminium 1.1978 and the coefficient is 7.0488. But I will probably always go for the newest one here. And we could do the same thing here for silver. And here says the N is 1.5016. So let's compare this here. Here we are a little bit lower. And the coefficient would be 3.4727. But I think this here is really, really close. If we change this here to Hagemann to 1974, let's see what he said. Okay, he sees it way higher. Oh, way higher. Okay, Johnson Christie 1972 sees it like that. And Wind, whatever that means, sees it like that. So as you can see, they probably this N value got used here and the K value probably from Rakic or something like that. I'm not sure right now. But yeah, this is how you can find different materials on refractiveindex.info. Like I said, I always choose probably the newest one and then just simply go for it and see how the material works. But most of the time, this is really, really cool. And I think this is one of the most appreciated features inside of Maxwell, because you really can get the materials as close to physical correctness than it gets, and this is really, really cool. Then here Here we have this R2 also explains this guy. I don't want to explain this right now. Here you have the roughness, which is basically, as you can see here in the preview, the glossiness. So if we go here to a higher value, you can also see this is how Maxwell works. You already get rid here of all silver material if you have a too high kind of roughness, and so on. I mean, this is really absolutely physically correct what happens here inside of Maxwell. I think we will go for a roughness here of 15 for now, and we will add a little bit of anisotropy. We need to go here above 50, because otherwise there will not much will happen. Maybe something like that. Let's maybe go for value of 60, 65, maybe might be good enough. And so yeah, that's it. And we will now look at our picture and see what we all have, or what we all need to texture. Here the front, then this big part, here this little circle, this one, and then also the two needles. So let's jump out of the camera and we will go object mode, and let me disable the camera. Let's just simply disable it in the viewport. We will first of all find this glass here, because I want to get rid of this glass so I can see a little bit better what's going on. Okay, so we need to texture this one right here. So let's just simply click on it in the viewport. This is this rod. We will give this Maxwell material. Then we will get this one here, this one circle. Okay, drop it on there. Then we need this big guy here. Just simply drop it on here. Then we need this here. Okay, this is already textured. Then we need here the front, which is already textured. Okay, what is with this thing in here? Hard to tell. Might be black, might be not. I can't really tell, to be honest. Let's just simply make this silver as well. So let's get rid of this thing here. Let's just disable it for now. Oh, okay. This is attached to this part already. Okay. And what is with this part right here? I think this is not textured yet. Oh, okay. It's silver as well. So we just simply give this here, this silver material. And here, is this here still the glass? Yes. Okay. No, this is the liquid. Okay. So we can enable the glass again. We can enable the needle again here. And I think we still need to disable this one here. Yes, and now we need to give this needle here the silver material as well, and here as well. Probably for the needle we could use a different silver material, but it's not so necessary, I think, for us right now. Okay, so let's jump back into the camera and let's start up fire and let's see what we get. Okay, already looks good. But we definitely, we might need to change this light a little bit more, maybe give it a little bit less, and we definitely also need an HDRI, because as you can see, the shadow here comes really strong. And if you look here at this picture, you can see the shadow here is a lot smoother. So there's definitely, I think, another light going on in this scene. So I think an HDRI will definitely be the best way to go. But first of all, we will create a black plastic material. And let me call this, first of all, silver matte. So we create a new one. Okay, here I already did create something, which I don't need. Let's delete this. Create shader Maxwell material. And we will just simply go create standard plastic. And the roughness for now, okay, maybe roughness something like 25. And as you can see, for plastic, Maxwell handles this a little bit differently. Just simply you have a color base and then you have a glossiness channel. So here in the color base, as you might have guessed, we can change the color. So we'll just simply change this here to some kind of grayish, and in the glossiness we can change the glossiness and also the IOR. And I think the IOR here should be 1.5, to be honest. And we can also tick on Force Fresnel and roughness 25. Well, maybe let's make it 28, something like that. And we can just simply apply this here to those things. So let's just simply drop this on here and drop this on here. And I think I need to disable the glass once more. And now I need to get those two parts here. Let me jump out of the camera. I think this will be a little bit better. And we'll just simply move this onto those two parts. And this should be, okay, the rings can also have this black plastic here. Okay, and this should be it, I think. Let's call this just simply black plastic, and now we will create a glass material here for our glass that we did just disable. So let's go create shader Maxwell material, call this here glass. We need to turn down here the reflectance 0 to absolutely black, reflectance 90 degrees absolutely black, and then the transmittance needs to be set to white. As you can see, we still don't have a glass material. This is because we need to change the attenuation here from nanometers to centimeters, and then we change the roughness here to 0 and tick on force Fresnel, and the ND should be 1.6 for normal glass. And as you can see, now we have our glass material. Glass always takes a little bit in unbiased engines, which is a little bit, it's not so cool. As you can see here, still working here SL10, SL11, SL12, so, and it's still not clean, so glass always takes a little bit. It's the same in octane, so what can you do? I mean, you can fake glass with this architectural glass method and stuff like that to get back in the render, so you can render faster, but it doesn't look so natural, I think. So this is why I always choose normal glass over this fake architectural one. Okay, so we just simply put our glass texture here on this thing and jump back in, and let's start up fire and let's see what we get. Okay, seems like the glass, let's maybe reload the scene. Sometimes Maxwell doesn't recognize materials right away. Okay, the glass is not glass yet. Why? Why? Oh, I think I did set it. Yeah, I did set it on the liquid instead of the glass, which is not so good. So let's start up fire once again. And now we have our glass right here, which is pretty nice. Okay, I think the next thing we want to do is we want to texture the rest. So we need some kind of translucent plastic material, as you can see. So I think we will just simply go create another here I have another Maxwell material that I didn't use yet. Okay, so let's delete this. Create shader Maxwell material, and we will go for create transparent, and here we have presets. We'll just simply go for green bottle glass for now and change the color here to a more kind of greenish color, like Raphael had it, maybe something like that, and change the refraction index to 1.5 and the transparency dispersion. Let's maybe just simply go convert to custom, and let's change here the roughness here maybe to something like 5 or something like that. Okay, let's apply this here to this little thing here in front, to the needle, and the same thing here in the back for this needle right there. Okay, and let's see what we get once again. Yeah, already working, pretty nice. The green might be a little bit too strong yet, so we might want to change the color here a little bit more in the transmittance, maybe a little bit brighter. Or we could go for a neon color. This might look nice as well. Maybe something like that. Looks a little bit more like poison. Might look a little bit better. I'm not sure. Okay, and we will just simply duplicate this material right here. First of all, we call this here green transparent plastic. Okay, and a second one here we will just simply call white transparent plastic, and we will just simply change here the transmittance here to white, and I think this should be good enough, to be honest. We select this here in front. Okay, this one is highlighted, so we drop this on here, and anything else we need? I think that's it with texturing, to be honest. So let's set up fire and let's see what we get. Might look good so far, but as you can see, we still still need to texture the floor, and we still need to set up an HDRI. So I think this should be the next thing that we should be doing. But first of all, I will save this file. All right, so this is saved, and what I want to do next, I think we can set up the HDRI. So let's just simply go environment, image based, and we will load something here in the background channel. You will get this HDRI as well. This is some HDRI that I did create in Photoshop. It's really pretty much straightforward. A lot of rectangles with sharp reflections, and I think this HDRI probably works pretty good for this scene. Okay, pre-processing materials. Time to light up a cigarette. Okay, this already looks way better. Okay, finally. Sorry for that. I think we need to go down with the roughness a little bit in the silver material, and we need to delete this Maxwell material right here. Let's change down here the roughness here maybe to 10. Because I think this definitely needs a little bit more glossiness. And we definitely also wanna... Let's maybe switch this here to... Let's maybe change the roughness here to 7 or something like that. So here roughness 7. And it's dropping maybe to 55. Okay, and I definitely wanna change the HDRI here a little bit. Intensity might be a little bit too strong. Well, first of all, let's turn it around a little bit with the offset. And let's see if we can make this here a little bit better. Yeah, already. Here this is really strong. I think this light really kills us a little bit. So I think we need to change our emission light that is on the plane. Let's maybe change this back here to 150. Because this reflection here is really way too strong. Looks a little bit better already. Now maybe let's change the HDRI, make the HDRI a little bit stronger, maybe 1.5, not too much. Oh, might look good. Also the shadow gets here now way better. I mean, this is just a preview inside of Fire. We could also change the engine here, change the sublighting level maybe to 9 or something like that to get a little bit more samples in the scene. But doesn't look too shabby yet. Okay, so we definitely need what do we need? A liquid. We definitely need a liquid. I totally forgot that. So let's go create shader Maxwell material, and we will just simply go here for good question. Let's just simply reflectance 0 and 90 degrees to black, and the transmittance here maybe to something like orange, a really tough orange, and change this here to centimeters. And the attenuation will also have an impact. We will set this here to 25, maybe something like that. Roughness will be 0, ND will be something like 1.3. Also go force Fresnel, and I think this will give us some kind of nice orange liquid. And let's just simply search here for the liquid. Here we go. Let's drop this on here. Let's save the file once again. Let's click on scene, and we will start up now the final Maxwell renderer for the first time, so I can see a little bit better what's going on and get a little bit more subsamples in and stuff like that. So here you can see pre-processing materials, voxelization, and then Maxwell starts up. Okay. Multilight is not turned on yet. We might want to turn this on as well, so I can show you this, what you can do with multilight in post work. Okay, the liquid here turns really black, as I can see already, so I did definitely something wrong probably, which is not so good. And till SL 5, 6 or 7, Maxwell still calculates the light, so this might still get a little bit brighter with the next SL. So we just simply have to wait for it till it changes here subsampling level 6 and see if we get more light in. If not, I think this is a little bit too dark. Okay, we've got a little bit more light in. We can also change this a little bit more in post work, so there should be no problem at all. Let's wait for the next SL. 5 seconds to go. Not too bad. Okay, and let's see if it gets a little bit brighter. Nope, not anymore. Okay, so good question. First of all, I need to fix this liquid. Let's see if I textured anything wrong or if it's just really me here. Liquid. No, liquid is on the liquid. But I think it's not working that way. We will just simply delete this and go for a Maxwell material. Let's go create from MXM and we will just choose orange juice right now. And let's see how they have created it. As you can see, you get this automatically as you load an SSS material here from this database. You get automatically this SSS preview scene right here. And here we can see now a little bit better what's going on. So transmittance is set to orange. And this is here still set to nanometers, okay? So don't switch this here to centimeters, it seems. Oh, and I need to switch here the preview scene. Okay, so let's leave this here as nanometers. Attenuation is 40. Why is this turning black now? I don't get it really, to be honest. Okay, this is really weird. Oh, okay. I'm not sure if the values here are really... Let's go for millimeters for now and let's try it. Might was my mistake. As soon as we load an MXM file, it might be that some values are not showing here correctly, but the values from the file are still calculated and selected, so this might be a problem. So let's start up fire and let's see if we get any kind of liquid here. Pre-processing material, voxelization, and it's still... Is there something going on? Some kind of color? Maybe it's really hard to tell sometimes with fire. Let's maybe make this really, really red here. Yeah, here now we definitely get something. So you can see this turns really, really red here. Maybe we don't really need an SSS material, to be honest, because a normal liquid would be just good enough. So we can choose here the co-F asymmetry to 0 and force Fresnel maybe to 1.33, and the attenuation we can just simply set to centimeters, right? No, we can't. Oh yes, we can, but then it turns black again. This is a little bit weird here. So we just simply leave this here at millimeters, I think. And the attenuation to 1. Yes, okay, finally, here we go. Let's change this now to centimeters and let's see what we get now. Okay, no, not good. Okay, so let's leave this at millimeters. And we will change this here, the color definitely to some kind of orange. I think I want to have some kind of orange color here. Might looks a little bit more like some kind of, I don't know. I just think it looks a little bit better. We can change the color later on anyway, in post-work a little bit at least. We definitely can switch the orange to a red color if we want to in post-work, if we don't like the orange so much. Okay, so we have our liquid, we have our plastic, metal, and the rest going on. We still need to texture the floor. So let's go create shader Maxwell material, and we'll just simply what can we do? I think we will create a plastic material. Plastic, roughness 5 for now is okay. Color base, I think I will change the ND here in the glossiness to 3. Load here a bump map. You will get this map as well. Here you can see the pre-made Maxwell materials, where you also, I think, can load the lenses and stuff like that. So Maxwell 3 material database, simulance maps. Here you can load different maps, also obstacle eyelashes, fingerprints that are maybe on the lens and stuff like that. So you can load this here in the simulance, and then just simply get really, really cool results. You can definitely play around with that. Okay, so let's load our texture, our bump map. So personal, where do I have it? Armordine. Here we go. We will just simply take this one and change the bump maybe here to 1. And we will definitely up the roughness here to something like, I don't know, maybe not so much, maybe 25 might be good. And I think that's good enough. And we might want to change this here. Well, a gray floor might not be so bad, to be honest. So let's take this one. Let's drop this onto the floor with UV mapping for now. And let's see what we get if we start a fire. Takes a little bit. Okay. And this light might still be a little bit too strong. And I think I want to have this material here a little bit more glossy, to be honest. Maybe make it 16, maybe 18. We could also load a roughness map here for this plastic material, so it doesn't has the same roughness all over. So it looks a little bit like touched plastic, but I think I will just simply leave that for now, to be honest. Yeah, I think the floor looks pretty okay so far. The bump might be, we might need a little bit stronger, but I think we can leave it like that. It's not so bad. Maybe a different color. Maybe let's make it some kind of, make it a little bit brighter, something like that. A little bit more in the white direction. Whoa, okay, maybe not. This might be too bright. Let's change it a little bit back more into the grayish direction. Okay, anything else we would need? Yeah, we could still set up a displacement map as well. I'm not sure how this really works inside of Maxwell yet. I think we can probably for displacement we can only use UV mapping. So I think we will leave the displacement. But if you ever want to load a displacement map inside of Maxwell, you can just simply go. Where is it again? Here we have an override map. What this override map does, this guy explains as well on YouTube. So please watch this video. This is really, really important, I think. And where is the displacement again? There was something. Maybe I can't load the displacement map right here. Let's maybe create a new material, shader Maxwell material, and let's search for the displacement. Where is it? Global bump, no. Override map, no. Type doesn't matter. Layer, blending, no. We don't need any additional blending. BSDF, here we just simply have the roughness bump and anisotropic angle. Scattering signal. Oh, I think we need to create a new layer for displacement. Sorry, this was my fault. So we go Maxwell material, add layer or add displacement. So we can just simply add displacement right here. And then we can choose here different types, how Maxwell handles this displacement map. So on the fly, pre-tessellated and vector. And here we can set a value and smoothing, offset, and so on. UV interpolation. So probably only works with UV map. Edge corners, edge and corners sharp, and so on and so on. And here we can type in a height value, so how much displacement we really want to have. And so yeah, and here you can choose the value of the subdivision, so how many subdivisions you want to have, and also how this is applied flat or Catmull loop, and so on and so on. Okay, so this was the displacement if you ever want to do it. And I think we still can load here maybe for the glass, we could load this texture ruffle head. So we just simply go here. And let's go to the desktop where I did save this, I think. And let's see if the texture is included. Yes, it's probably this one, measure. And I think we now also need an alpha map. Is that right? I think so. So close. Can we even see it? Maybe we have to load it in the transmittance. So let's just simply uncheck this here, or we can just simply also delete the map. This would also work. Let's go in the transmittance and load this measure data. And I think here we can use an alpha. Huh, good question now. No. How can we do this? Oh, opacity mask, here we go. Let's just simply load this one here. I'm not sure how this works right now, so let me create a new material. Sorry for that. Let's load here the measure this measure texture again in a normal material. Okay. Then we should see here something at least. No, not really right now, but it's white. And now we go layer, opacity mask. We load the exact same file. Let's go close, and we'll just simply go invert. And now only the measure data should be there. Okay, that's good. So that's working. Okay. So let's do the exact same thing here in the glass. I'm not sure if I should really load this over the transmittance. Not sure yet. We will see. Layer, opacity mask. Let's click here on invert, close. Okay, that's not really working. No, this is only glass. Oh no! I think I'm on the wrong track right now. Let's just simply check it. Let's go scene, fire. And let's see what we get. I'm not sure if anything is there right now. I think this is not working like this anyway. I think I'm really on the wrong track right now. I'm thinking completely differently right now. This is really bad. I think we will just simply leave this texture for now. But yeah, if you want to have an alpha channel, you know now how you can do it. And yeah, I think I have to combine these materials. I probably have to stack this. I have to make a new layer here and make an overlay. Let's just simply try to do this really quickly. Add layer. So I have here now a new BSDF material. Here we'll load the map. Okay, it's not here anymore. Let's load it in. And then go layer, opacity mask. We load the same map, go invert, close. And now this map should be above this glass, and I think now it should be working. But I'm not sure if the how the mapping is on this glass. So since we did delete all the V-Ray materials, I don't have the same settings anymore that Raphael had anyway. Maybe it was just a UV unwrapping and it's working now perfectly. Maybe not. I'm not sure if it's there now. Probably not, I think. But I think this should be the right way to apply this texture now above this glass layer. But we probably, let's just simply create an, let's do this. I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit lazy. Let's just load this here in the color channel. Load this texture right here. And apply this here to our glass. And let's see what we get if we drop it on there. Not much, okay, it's not good. That's not too good. Let's maybe apply it here to this glass inside. Let's maybe give it here this measure tag. Okay, with this measure tag it would probably work. So we can just simply go like, but I still don't see the, what, the measure thing. Options, display textures, okay, that's there. Let's disable the light for now. Okay, doesn't really matter. That's no good. Let's maybe change this to cubic. Okay, here we go. And now we just simply need to change this down here, I think. Yeah, maybe something like that. Change this even a little bit more, maybe to 30, 30. And now let's search for our texture. Okay, now it's really small, but might be okay. 34, 35. Let's go with 34.8. 34.8. Okay, here we go. Well, let's just simply apply this glass material here over this one. And then we just simply duplicate this one. Delete the layer here, remove, yes. And then we drop this normal glass material on here. Let's start up Maxwell Fire. And let's see if we get something now. Okay, now that UF kicks in, because we don't have a right UF right now. Oh, sweet mother. Okay, let's jump into the camera. Let's make it, just simply, let's make a test right now and let's see what we get. So we can see a little bit better what's going on. And when we have this, we can finally move on into Photoshop, make a little bit of post work, and then we can finish this project. But yeah. Okay, and I will also show you multi-light as well. I think I totally forgot that yet. Do I have a texture here now or not? Oh no. Doesn't look like this. Okay, last thing we could try, one last try to get this right. Just simply do it with the normal Maxwell material and not with a glass one. Here we have it already created. Let's just simply try to drop this one onto the glass instead of those two different glass materials. Okay, which one is which one? Okay, this one. Let's just drop it on there and let's go scene, render. The problem is that we might have no glass now here, which will also look bad. But let's see what we get. Okay. Okay, now we have it. Here it is. The question is only, is this now here really an alpha, so we don't have a glass here now? Or is it working? I'm not 100% sure. I think we need to let this clean up a little bit more. I will just simply pause the video here and then let you know if everything worked out fine. Yeah, I think we are good. The only thing that I want to change is the map on the floor. And this is really the last thing that we will change probably. And also the liquid looks a little bit weird. This is because every render engine handles liquids a little bit differently, and so does Maxwell. So to get here, let me check this quickly. Let's click on this here, disable the glass, and let's see what we have here. How the liquid looks. Do I need... How does this work again? Just one simple layer. Okay. Let's enable the glass and let's see how that glass is built. This is also interesting and will have some impact. Is this just one layer? Just one? Yeah, okay. What about the liquid? Let's check the liquid. Okay, Is the liquid double-sided or something like that? Oh wow, okay, that's not good for Maxwell, I think. Let's just simply take the liquid and switch it out for now. I just want to see what it looks like. Okay. Let's see how this is built. No, it should be perfect, but there's maybe something else going on. Let's disable the glass. No, looks okay. Let's check the glass. If this is double-sided, yes. Okay, this might be a problem for Maxwell, that this is double-sided here. The glass should have no thickness at all if you have liquids inside of Maxwell. So as you can see, this has a thickness, this glass, and this is why this liquid looks a little bit weird here. Till this part where we have the liquid, it looks wrong, and at the rest it probably looks right. So the best thing we could do here is go select loop selection and try to delete this stuff. I'm not sure if this is really nice. We need to change this here. But this will probably also destroy the model a little bit, which is not so good. This is bad, this is bad. Okay, let's just simply try to delete this inside here. There is also this thing. Whoop, that was not so good. Let's go to the other side. Let's select all those polys. Delete this away. What is that, by the way? Oh, this is the liquid, sorry. Just simply need to drop this down a little bit more. Let's go to the glass again. We still have too much layers here. We need to delete this one as well. And oh, sweet mother. Okay, we only need to delete. Okay, now this one can stay. Let's go Control A optimize. Let's go to point mode, Control A optimize. So we get rid of all the points we don't need. And let's see if we drop this back into the sub D. This should be now only one layer, right? Yes, I think so. And make sure that also the polygons are pointing in the right direction, so that the orange side is here on the outside like it is right here. You can just simply do this by reverse normals or align normals, maybe. Okay, so let's switch this back in. And now let's also, does it, yeah, I think we need to, yeah, something like that. Okay, now we take the liquid and switch this in there as well. Maybe let's take a front view, so we can see a little bit better what's going on. Maybe a right view. Okay, doesn't look good anyway. Okay, just simply switch it in. Should not intersect, so we need to make sure that this doesn't intersect. Okay, let's jump back into the camera, set up the scene, and let's see what we get now. Okay, liquid looks now good, but now it also really looks red, like it should be. And so yeah, I think we made it perfectly. So every render engine really handles liquids a little bit differently, and also the geometry that surrounds the liquid. So you really need to make sure to handle this right, to yeah, to make this work. And we can now also change this here to centimeters, I think, without any problems, and change the attenuation here, maybe something like 10. And then we maybe should get finally something that we like. This scattering kicks in too much. Let's change this here also to a more orange color. Let's maybe change this back here to millimeters. And make this here a brighter orange color. Now I think I almost like it. I mean, it doesn't really matter what kind of liquid we really want to prepare the inside. The only thing that is really important for me right now is the color anyway. So I'm not going for, this really should be perfect, I don't know, orange juice or whatever. And the attenuation should be right, and the scattering color should be right and stuff like that. I just simply want to have it orange and that's it. Okay, so the last thing that I want to do is I want to change the floor a little bit, and then we can finally render this out. So I will just simply load the same map. Let's go load image, and okay, here we have also the textures for the floor. We might want to use those as well. Here we have a scratch map he probably used for the metal. And this might be for the floor, but I will take my own map for the floor, I think. So let's go personal again, and here and here and here. We will load this map. Okay, and let's drop it onto the plane and let's see how it's applied. Oops, this was the light plane. That's not so good. Here we have the floor. Okay. And now we can see how this applied. Let's change this here to cubic. Yeah, this might look a little bit better. I think this is already good enough. Now we can drop our floor. Let's call this here floor mat. Can drop this on there again. And now we can finally do some rendering. And first of all, we want to also check multi-light on intensity. And even though we only have 2 lights, we have an HDRI and 1 area light. But I still can show you a little bit something about multi-light. So as soon as this starts rendering, we should get here some buttons that we can control. So as you can see, now we get here those buttons, and here we have also this timeline. And here we can now set keyframes. So let's say at keyframe, I don't know, 1, we want to have the light like this. So let's go create keyframe. Then we, at frame 40, we want to have no light at all. So 150 watt, we change this to 0 and the HDRI to 0 as well. Create keyframe. As you can see, as the next SL comes, it updates this automatically. So this is why we have no light in the scene right now. Then we go to 80, and let's say we want to switch this back on to 150, and this one here to 1. Then let's go create keyframe, and that's it. So when the next SL comes, here you can see already how it looks now. If you look here at the preview window and I scrub through the timeline, you can see how this animates now. And now after this is, I don't know, at final quality where you really say, okay, now I like the shot and it's cleaned up more than enough, then you just simply go options, file, save sequence, and then this timeline will be saved with this final quality of this picture. And I think we might still have a little bit of a problem with the liquid. This might be because I don't have applied the liquid right. Maybe it's intersecting somewhere or something like that. I'm not 100% sure yet. Maybe this is only the reflection here. It scares me a little bit. Can't really tell right now. Okay, so I will just simply pause the video, and when this has finished rendering, I will turn back on recording and we will make the final touches inside of Photoshop, and then we will and then we can close this chapter. Alright, so here we are at SL15. Time passed was 32 minutes so far, almost 33 minutes. It's still not absolutely clean, as you can see here, so this probably would need to render for another half hour, I guess, to make it completely clean. Since this is only a tutorial, I will just simply stop this now, save out the image, and we'll make a little bit post work with the noise in the image, but what can you do? So we'll just simply save this here, call this, keine Ahnung, I don't know. Seems like I'm mixing up some German today. Let's just go for TIFF file. TIFF 16-bit. Okay. And let's start up Photoshop. And we can try this to apply a little bit of post work. Where is it? Here we go. TIFF. Okay, perfect. Okay. Maybe I also want to save this out as an AXR 32-bit. Just simply to have it. Okay. Alright, so let's jump back into Photoshop and let's apply some postwork. So first of all, camera raw filter. Something I start out most of the time. We can change here the color a little bit. Let's make it a little bit more in the bluish direction. Maybe something like that. Here we can change the lighting a little bit more. Maybe something like that. Make it a little bit more brighter. Can change the contrast. Could bring in a little bit more contrast, why not? And here the clarity, which will also help to see the bump a little bit better, but which will also make us see the noise a little bit more. But anyway, we don't care about the noise anyway. Okay. And now we could also change here some colors if we want to. This orange, we could change this here to even more orange, or maybe to a more yellowish thing. Maybe something like that. Doesn't look too shabby. Here we could also change the green. Or here maybe, yeah. To more greenish color or something like that. I think something like that looks maybe a little bit better. And here we could also change the orange to a more reddish color. Yeah, maybe let's do this. Let's do it like that. Let's click OK. I will still apply another curve here and might change here to blue and get the overall look a little bit more bluish maybe. Maybe more, a little bit more greenish maybe. Looks a little bit better. Something like that. It doesn't look too bad. Okay, and I think that's it. Doesn't need much more post work. I definitely would normally make here the displacement, get in a little bit more scratches, add a roughness map so this doesn't have the same reflection all over the parts. I would definitely increase the bump map. I think I would lower the DOF a little bit more, because I think the f-stop might be a little bit too low right now, and I think I would play a little bit more with the light. But overall, for a really quick tutorial, I think we can definitely live with the shot, and it doesn't look too shabby, to be honest. But if I would do this on my own, I would definitely work a little bit longer on this to make it absolutely 100% right. We also need to fix the liquid here, I think, a little bit. It might not be applied 100% perfectly under the glass. This is might become here some problems with the liquid rendering as well. So I would try to fix this, of course. But anyway, I really hope that you learned something about Maxwell, about how easy it is really to create materials, and also with this refractive index side that you maybe can create some materials that are not listed inside of Maxwell. It comes with a lot of already prepared materials. The only con of this render engine is that if you don't have so much CPU power, it might be a little bit slow, but for still shots it's still absolutely awesome, I think. And I used it a lot in the last weeks, and I really need to say I absolutely love it. And but yeah, for animations it might be a little bit hard, but Maxwell is a really, really absolutely advanced engine, and you can really do a lot of stuff with it and get absolutely stunning results. So I really hope you learned something, and yeah, might leave a comment or something like that if you want to know a little bit more, or something wasn't clear to you, or you just want to have a general question or whatever. So I wish you a nice day, and see you next time. Bye bye.